Hey, what's up? Jonathan Fink, author of the Republic Baseball League, and this is the audiobook. This is Volume 1, Chapter 2, The College Professor. Kevin Dempsey was born in 1967 and grew up on a small farm northeast of Wichita. His father loved baseball and instilled in him his passion for the game. They regularly played catch in the backyard, and during Dempsey's elementary school years, they often made the 3-hour drive to Kansas City, where a municipal stadium used to be, so that his dad could reminisce about the good old days. During these visits, they frequently walked the downtown streets and strolled around the Jazz District to listen to the music blasting out of the local bars and music joints. A few times, they even got haircuts at the barbershop. Some of Dempsey's most cherished childhood memories were made walking these city blocks with his dad. For his father, this neighborhood was sacred ground. Dempsey became a fantastic baseball player and was the star of the Wichita East High School team. During his senior year, he was heavily recruited by several colleges with prestigious Division I baseball programs, including Texas Christian University, University of Arkansas, and University of Oklahoma. Dempsey, also an excellent student who graduated high school with honors, became a local hero when he decided to stay close to home and the family farm to play ball for Wichita State University. Dempsey made a name for himself on the baseball diamond, playing shortstop for the Shockers, and he led the team to several NCAA tournaments and College World Series appearances during the late 1980s. He also made a name for himself as a scholar athlete at WSU, earning a Bachelor of Arts degree in economics, graduating cum laude. Dempsey's achievements at WSU didn't end there. In his freshman year, he met a local girl named Sarah, a bright, beautiful, political science major, and they dated throughout college. Immediately after graduation, they got married. Many talented college baseball players have hopes and dreams of playing in the major leagues. Dempsey shared this dream as a youngster, but knew it was a long shot for him. He also knew that he and Sarah wanted something even more. He wanted to go to graduate school and get a master's degree in economics, and then become a college professor. Sarah, who resembled actress Reese Witherspoon, wanted to go to law school and become an attorney. Dempsey's ultimate goal was to earn a PhD in economics. Having clearly defined objectives for their future, they packed their bags and moved from Wichita to Lawrence to pursue their respective graduate degrees. Dempsey applied to the Master's in Economics program at the University of Kansas, and Sarah applied to the University of Kansas School of Law. With excellent academic credentials, both were accepted. Over the next 3 years, Dempsey earned his master's degree, and Sarah graduated with a law degree. Both did well in graduate school and had no trouble finding employment after graduation. Dempsey, as an associate college professor of economics at University of Missouri, Kansas City, and Sarah at one of Kansas City's largest law firms. Over the next 2 decades, the Dempseys built a life together. They had 2 children, bought a house in Mission Hills, Kansas, and pursued their careers. Dempsey became a full-time professor of economics, and his classes were almost always oversubscribed by students wanting to learn his curriculum. Sarah spent several years at the law firm before branching out to start her own boutique firm with a few other attorneys who left with her. They also became very involved in their community. Dempsey, who still loved baseball as much as an adult as he did as a kid, coached his boys in Little League and in youth baseball tournaments after that. As a true baseball fanatic, he continued to coach and instruct neighborhood kids on the ball fields, even after his own boys went off to college. He and Sarah were active in their church and could always be counted on to do volunteer work. Dempsey did have one regret. His busy life during these years did not permit him to pursue his goal of earning his PhD, but that would change. In 2018, the Kansas City Urban Youth Baseball Academy, the brainchild of Dayton Moore when he was the general manager of the Kansas City Royals, opened for business on East 17th Terrace, not far from the Negro League Baseball Museum and the intersection of 18th and Vine. It was built to help inner city kids find a place to play baseball and improve their skills. As soon as the Baseball Academy started advertising to fill staff positions, Dempsey volunteered to be a baseball coach and drove into the city many afternoons to do so. The barbershop, Mo Franklin's baseball card store, was the first new business to open after the Baseball Academy. Since Dempsey was already in the neighborhood, he was the first customer to walk into the store on its opening day. Dempsey returned to the store most days that he was in town, and every time he stepped inside, fond memories of his childhood with his dad resurfaced. He felt like a kid again. He cherished these visits because he loved baseball and still enjoyed collecting baseball cards, a hobby he started as a teenager. Dempsey's wife, Sarah, now the managing partner of her boutique law firm, was always busy making sure that it ran smoothly, and it did. As a result, Dempsey had a lot of alone time on his hands, and he used it wisely. Now in his 50s, sporting a college professor look, handsome with dirty blonde hair, blue eyes, and a bushy beard, he taught college and graduate level economics courses at University of Missouri, Kansas City. He coached and hit ground balls to local kids on the baseball fields at the Kansas City Urban Youth Baseball Academy, and he spent time reminiscing and talking baseball in the back room of the barbershop. Despite his busy schedule, Dempsey always found time to think about and research ideas for his thesis to earn his PhD in economics. He spent countless hours in the university library during the week and on the weekends. Most of this time, he was on the third floor, near the microfiche machines, nestled in at a desk surrounded by large stacks of books dealing with politics, economics, and the business of baseball. For months now, Dempsey had been thinking of a compelling PhD thesis, but had been unable to convince Dean McGregor, the chairman of the economics department at the university, that the subject matter he had hoped to focus on was PhD dissertation worthy. The current situation was disappointing to Dempsey. He knew that a PhD, also known as a doctorate, was the most advanced degree he could earn in his academic discipline. He would have to produce original research that expanded the boundaries of knowledge on a specific topic, normally in the form of a thesis or an oral dissertation. It would have to be worthy of publication in a peer-reviewed journal. He also knew that before he could begin his dissertation project in earnest, his subject matter would have to be approved by Dean McGregor, and after its completion, he would have to defend his work against experts in the field. Unfortunately, Dempsey, with no new ideas to propose, sensed that today's meeting with Dean McGregor would be probably unproductive, much shorter, and possibly far worse than his previous two sessions when all of his thesis proposals were rejected. He was right. Dean McGregor, a stern, confident, well-dressed academic in his late 60s, who looked like a sinister villain right out of a James Bond movie, was sitting behind a large desk in his office. Dempsey knocked, walked in, and sat down in his chair in front of the desk. He looked Dean McGregor in the eyes and said, "I've got nothing new. I still think my previous ideas are solid PhD material." The dean looked straight back at Dempsey and replied, "Well then, this meeting is adjourned." Dempsey got up out of his chair, extended his hand to shake Dean McGregor's and said, "Thanks for your time." McGregor did not shake Dempsey's hand. Instead, responded coldly, with a sharp tongue, "Speaking of time, mine is valuable. so please don't waste it again. This was our third meeting. Since you love baseball so much, consider this. Strike 3 and you're out. This meeting is over. Dejected, Dempsey drove from the university campus directly to the barbershop. When he arrived, he walked into the back room and saw Mo Franklin sitting around a bridge table playing baseball card poker with 3 old-timers, Henry, Frank, and Bobby. In baseball card poker, every player received a pack of baseball cards. Then, the players traded cards with each other, hoping to make one of several winning hands. For example, 4 of a kind would be 4 players on the same baseball team. A full house would be 1 card of a ball player from 5 different teams in the same division. A royal flush would be a hand of 5 cards of players on the Kansas City Royals. If no player had a winning hand, each received another pack of baseball cards, and trading continued. When it came to baseball memorabilia at the barbershop, the back room was just as jam-packed as the front of the store. The walls were adorned with colorful baseball pennants of teams from the past, including the Homestead Grays, the St. Louis Stars, the Pittsburgh Crawfords, and the Newark Eagles. Photos of dozens of ball players enshrined in the Hall of Fame filled the spots on the walls not covered with pennants. The logo of the Kansas City Monarchs could be seen on the top of the bridge table. Throughout the poker game, Dempsey listened to Mo Franklin and the old-timers debate the recent rule changes in Major League Baseball. Mo said, "Baseball just ain't like it used to be. All the things that made the game great are slowly slipping away." Henry, who looked like an older version of Morgan Freeman, chimed in. "You're right. I mean, now the league commissioner is talking about expanding the playoff format permanently. And don't get me started about 3-batter minimum rule for pitchers, 7-inning doubleheaders, and runners starting on second base during extra innings. Baseball was such a great game the way it used to be." Bobby, who resembled comedian and game show host Steve Harvey, asked, "Why are they always attempting to fix something that was fine the way it was?" At that point, Dempsey jumped into the conversation and said, "All of these rule changes won't solve any of the real issues that Major League Baseball needs to address. If the MLB commissioner understood media, maybe the league would have a fighting chance to make things right. But right now, fans can't even watch their local teams sometimes because of the MLB rules that enforce television blackouts. Fans buy the MLB cable package to watch their favorite team, and they can't even watch them play half the time. It's madness. How is the league going to increase viewership if fans can't even see the games they want to watch?" Frank, who reminded Dempsey of actor James Earl Jones, agreed. He said, "He's right. I guess Major League Baseball makes lots of money from this business model, but they risk dissing a generation of fans." Then Henry said, "You want to keep the game of baseball popular? Don't change it. Putting a runner on second base in extra innings is not the answer. If they want to grow the game, market the players. You have more players in baseball than any other professional sport, and they have more diverse backgrounds. That's the way to do it." Dempsey added, "If the owners really wanted to make Major League Baseball better, they should create a promotion and relegation system, just like the one that exists in Europe with soccer. They should also end the MLB antitrust exemption and set MLB minor league affiliates, those teams, free." Dempsey, who probably would have enjoyed keeping the conversation going, smiled and said, "I'm sorry, guys. I gotta get back to campus. I just got a great idea for my first lecture of the new semester, and possibly for my PhD thesis in economics as well." End of chapter 2.
This month, we have some great sports card stories from across the U.S. and talk to an author from nearby Leawood, Kansas, who has written a book about returning to collecting after 3 decades away.
My day job is I'm a financial advisor, so I've been investing for over 20 years. In a way to express my love for the hobby, I decided, what if I write an investment book, Sports Card Collectors Club, and treat the stock market the same way I would treat the card market. And so I thought, well, how would a day trader invest in cards? How would a venture capitalist buy and sell cards? How would a hedge fund do it? As I would go through my trials and tribulations, I realized that for as much fun as I was having investing, there was something missing. And one day I was watching the Royals game on television, and it was a rain delay. And the Car Life television show came on. I was watching that episode, I was watching Matt Strom open cards and rip packs, and I started getting the warm, fuzzy feeling. I said, this is what I want to be doing. I want to get back to really collecting and ripping cards and building sets. And that's where the story of my book has a change. I go from investing back to collecting.
I'll also open a variety of boxes from different sports. So he hit the home run off me in like the 7th inning. And then in the 8th inning, JT hit a double, so he's standing on second. And Mason Wynn asked him, he's like, hey JT, he's like, I heard Strom collects cards of guys that take him deep. He's like, does that mean he's gonna send me over a couple cards to sign tomorrow? And after the game, we had won. I mean, winning is the only thing that's important to me. So it's like, I was good after the game, whatever, and JT comes up to me and he's like, hey Stromy, he was really genuine. Like he wasn't taking shots. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, when I got to second, Mason asked if you're gonna send a card over for him.
I'm just looking around my basement here, just walls covered with concert posters and toys, and just like, I have no intention of selling these things. I collect because I want to show off the things I love and do it in fun ways. And it just never crossed my mind that, hey, I'm going to go buy this thing just so I can resell it. Like that to me isn't a pure collector mentality. And obviously things change and times change. And, in order for things to survive right now, you have to have that sort of chase for something valuable.
Yeah, it needs to be a circus. You know what? The truth is, I actually watched the live stream on eBay Live with Ken Golden and Logan Paul. They ripped a box of 86 Flair and a box of Series 1 Pokemon. And you know what? It was very entertaining. They're both polarizing characters. I thought it was entertaining. But you know what? After every pull, they immediately are showing the value. And it begs the question, are we creating, not we, is the industry creating a gambling culture which has a real downside?
It already has. Right. Not created. It's here.
Yeah, and that's a concern. I guess for me, I hope to be an influence where we focus more on collecting, because you know what, when markets crash, collectors don't get hurt at all. Because the Sandy Koufax you bought that because it makes you feel good. It brings back good memories.
Said this one traded for my first big win. Jonathan sank on the line tonight.
You have created community, so let's talk about that. I went to Rip Night at your shop. Let's rip another pack. And I went to your Rip Night 2 years ago, and it was one of the best. I wrote about it in volume 1. It was one of the best times I've ever had. You guys had this giant scoreboard where you had the chase cards, and everyone can buy whatever product you wanted, like buy 3, get 1 free, whatever product, whatever it was. You then, if you pull a Bronny James, you then get another blaster. Or I pulled a Reed Shepherd auto, and then I got a free T-shirt. And I sat around the table with strangers and had the best time ever. So let's talk about how important community is. And what you guys do is provide an anchor for community in our town. How important that is.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, one of our taglines, we say we'll make an offer on anything, but like you said, I mean, we got to pay what it's worth, and so if it's junk wax, it's going to be junk wax prices, which unfortunately, a lot of people end up thinking that their 87 Topps Barry Bonds is going to be a couple $100 or
it's worth nothing, people.
Brand and notoriety. And so when you're pitching these stories to these athletes, like I've reached out to a couple of different athletes about writing a potential article about their collections and having them kind of share their story. And it's like, yes, like I write for Collectibles on SI, which is under the Sports Illustrated umbrella. It does carry weight. Like it does, people recognize that brand. It is important. And so I'm super grateful that I've been given the opportunity to write for that staff.
The top segment that was done by you on you was so well produced, right? Did all that come from the conversation you had with Michael Rubin? Is that how that put you on the map to such an extent that all those opportunities happened? How did that happen? Did you get a call one day?
Said this one traded for my first big win. Jonathan sank on the line tonight with a pack in hand and a story that bites.
I didn't even collect when I was 3 years old. Like when this card came out, but oh, you just pulled a good one. Roman Anthony, from Dempsey, I love Wichita State.
Yeah.
I would have been thrilled if he went to Tulane, but his parents have roots in Nebraska. So for him, it was coming home. And so Nebraska got a good one. And so I'm not surprised that program's on the rise because they got a great stadium. They have great resources. They got a great fan base with people like you. And their recruiting is fantastic. They're finding the talented kids. So
yeah, in fact,
the Big Ten.
So yeah, Will Bolt, the head coach, he actually played at Nebraska when I was traveling with the Nebraska team in the late '90s. He was down at Texas A&M when I worked at Texas A&M. Rob Childress is the pitching coach, and I was on the hiring committee that hired him away from Nebraska to come down at Texas A&M, and they're thrilled that he's back here in Nebraska. He's a genius. The number of players in pro ball right now that went through Rob Childress, so he'll be under good guidance when he gets up here to Nebraska. They're good people.
One kid found a mantle in the rain. One old friend came back with the same old chain.
Talk to me about the reaction of the players, the other players, when they see this bat putter. Are they flipping out? They freak out when they see it?
When they see it and they're like, they just stop. Yeah, let's go. Yeah.
So the reason why I asked that question is because I had that experience literally yesterday. So when I first got the bat putter, I think I bought it 6 months ago, and it's customized for the Republic Baseball League, which is so cool. And now that I realize, now that I love it so much, and I got to use it yesterday, I'm like, I got to start buying them for different people. Like anyone's a guest on my show, they got to get a bat putter, okay? Yeah. But the point is, I never use it because I thought it was too sacred to me. I keep it in my office like a sacred shrine. It means so much to me. But then I was like, after watching all these videos and stuff like that, I'm like, you know what? There's this indoor amazing place in Kansas City called Tap-Ins. Okay, they have an outdoor putt, but also indoor. And depending on the weather, the whole thing, it's an amazing atrium, and it's become a successful business. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? That's a perfect. It was a hot day. I'm like, it's a perfect thing to do. So my buddy Paul Greenwood, who I featured in my first book, we went and played around. And when I showed up with this bat putter, people were freaking out. They were literally losing their minds, and that's when I realized. And then by the way, it was a Sunday, middle of the day, hot as heck. I want to see how it gets made, but you probably do actually.
I want to see if there's quality control testers there.
But attention! If anyone on the tops is watching, Grip and Rip we want to get invited to a tour at a factory. The two of us.
I told them I would work for free.
Right.
I would work absolutely free. I want to see how their stuff's made.
Yeah, I'm curious. But like collation is like I'm sure there's a bunch of engineers that sit around and design
Got some breaking news for you.
Yeah?
Slab just texted me.
No way. What'd he say? The numbers
Looks like this is the first year to hear it. Who is that?
Right.
Let me see here.
Breaking news. Grip and Rip, breaking news.
Oh, U.S. agent. Okay, so I just got told that the finest mega boxes are going to be really, really, really good.
Oh, interesting.
1.6 numbered cards a box. So you're guaranteed one numbered card with a 60% chance to pull a second numbered card.
Wow,
and
interesting.
Autos are 1 in 3.
Whoa. So do you think that Topps decided to go big because this is their first year with Topps Finest in retail?
I'm going to say yes. Yes.
Right? Because
I do think so.
You usually get so upset with the delayed numbers, they're delaying them. Or maybe, by the way, I don't know if it's a conspiracy that the odds are coming out later. I just feel that maybe they're just not as efficient as they used to be.
You might have watched this game back
I'm sure I did.
Currently,
Derek Coleman. Yeah, he was on my fans team for sure.
Pretty crazy to think, in the future you would be able to collect that moment that you watched.
Right. And by the way, check that out. It's worth $198 versus the ones that are worth 35 cents because it makes sense. Because the same way that you value your 1964 Willie Mays card, you're going to value your Drazen Petrovic, and you're not going to want to give it up unless it's for a very, very good price because you love that memory. And what's wild is the same way that you get the warm, fuzzy feeling with dopamine hit, whatever, when you look at a card on your shelf, it's the same thing. But when you're online at the bank, you don't have your cards with you, Paulie, but you do have your phone, and you can pull up your Drazen Petrovic and pay respect to him and watch a couple of his awesome plays that give you the warm fuzzies because you can. It's wild. And so
This month, we have some great sports card stories from across the U.S. and talk to an author from nearby Leawood, Kansas, who has written a book about returning to collecting after 3 decades.